All right, yeah, so we're going to begin by reading a little bit from the third canto.
Počet ćemo malo tako što ćemo čitati iz trećeg pjeva.
So it's a story that you've already read.
To je priča koju ste već pročitali.
And I'll give some background for you folks who have read.
Vi koji niste pročitali, ja ću jednu pozadinu dati o toj priči.
You have a bunch of Talmud today?
It will be okay. There are two mics.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to begin with the story of Sati and Daksha and his daughter Sati Devi.
Počet ćemo sa pričom o Dakši i njegovoj čerkici Sati Devi.
Now, Daksha, are you familiar with Daksha, this person?
Znate ko je Dakša?
No, okay. All right, so this is very, very long time ago.
Nekad jako davno.
And Daksha, he's one of the progenitors of mankind.
Dakša je jedan od oni koji je razmnožavao populaciju čovječanstva.
Okay, he's in charge of populating the universe.
On je bio zadužen da univerzum napuni živim bićima.
So all living beings, they have material desires, so they need a material body, and for that, there has to be somebody who's going to provide.
Sva živa bića imaju svoje želje, a da bi ispunili svoje želje potrebna su im materijalna tijela i potreban je neko koji im omogućio ta materijalna tijela.
Now remember that at the end of each kalpa, end of each kalpa,
Na kraju svake kalpe,
kalpa is a cycle of 4 yugas.
kalpa je ciklus od 4 yuga.
At the end of each kalpa, there's a partial dissolution.
Na kraju kalpe bude djelomično uništenje.
I forget how high. Anyway, a lot of everything is wiped out. The Maharloka. Okay, thank you.
Sve do Maharloke bude uništenje planeta.
Heavenly planets.
I Maharloka to su rajski planete.
So, and then at the beginning, so that's Brahma's night, and then which is also the cycle of 4 yugas, and then again has another day.
Brahmina noć traje jedan ciklus 4 juge, a isto toliko traje dan.
So then everybody needs a body again. So there's a lot of bodies need to be provided for the living beings.
I onda kad počne dan, potrebno je puno tijela za živa bića.
So Daksha was one of the personalities who's in charge of creating lots of progeny.
I Dakša je bio jedan od tih osoba kojim je bilo zaduženje da stvara materijalna tijela.
And he was considered not only considered, he was a very prominent personality in the heavenly realm amongst the demigods.
I među polubogovima on je bio veoma prominentna osoba.
And so Lord Brahma, so he had a daughter, and Lord Brahma asked him to give his daughter to Lord Shiva.
Dakša je imao čerku i Brahma mu je ga zamolio da njegovu čerku da gospodinu Šivi.
So Daksha did so at the request of Brahma, not because he wanted to, but because the Supreme Personality in this universe asked him.
I Dakša je dao svoju čerku gospodinu Šivi, ne zato što je on to htio, nego zato što je najuzvišenija osoba u ovom univerzumu, gospodin Brahma, to zatražio od njega.
So we're going to read a part from the Bhagavatam that explains some friction, some problems between the two.
I sad ćemo čitati jedan dio Bhagavatama koji objašnjava neke nerazmjerice između njih dvojice.
What do you have? You have a book or what?
Well, Timoshko, she had a mobile with the Google Translate quite good.
Okay.
Translator, so short. Just tell us words.
We're 4th canto, chapter 2.
Oh, it's 4th canto.
Noted, okay.
Aha.
Verse 1?
You have Croatian on your phone?
Yeah, it should be on Croatian. It's 4th canto, 2nd chapter, which verse first one? Yeah.
Mislim,
Što je bilo?
to bude da ne kažem.
Pa, znači, nije četan, dobagavac. Ja ću, samo. Sorry. Should I put first verse or what?
You're there.
Yeah, but which first
Yes,
verse? She will need to find a translation, sorry. I put first
Starting
verse.
from, yeah.
So teacher Srpebacna, she will put it on Croatian. Because it's her mobile, she knows.
Evo ga on. Prilog je automatski, nekak ne zvezda, to nas samo treba translate, tako da...
Ok, whatever, vidjet ćemo.
Let me see. What do you have?
4-1.
Oh, I see this.
Kodite mi uvijek ćeš.
Aha, to, dobro.
Pa ja ne znam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, text number 4.
Čitamo Srimad Bhagavatama, 4. pjevanje, 2. poglavlje, stih 4.
So I'm going to read a number of verses. I'll read 4 verses and then you read 4. Okay? The sage Maitreya said, in a former time, the leaders of the universal creation performed a great sacrifice in which all of the great sages, philosophers, demigods, and fire gods assembled with their followers. Go ahead.
Mudrac Maitreya rekao, nekada su vođe univerzalne kreacije izveli veliku žrtvu u kojoj su se svi veliki mudraci, filozofi, polubogovi i bogovi vatre okupili sa svojim sljedbenicima.
When Daksha, the leader of the Prajapatis, the progenitors, entered this assembly, his bodily effulgence was as bright as the effulgence of the sun. The entire assembly was illuminated, and the assembled personalities became insignificant in his presence.
No, this is in English.
Fine.
But I would like it. Kada je Daksha, vođa Prajapatija, ušao u arenu, njegovo osobno tijelo je bilo sjajno kao sjaj sunca. I čitav skup je bio prosvjetljen.
Osvjetljen.
Kako?
Osvjetljen.
Osvjetljen, da. I skupljene osobe su postale beznačajne u njegovom prisustvu.
Influenced by his personal bodily luster, all the fire gods and other participants in that great assembly, with the exceptions of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, gave up their own sitting places and stood in respect for Daksha.
Pod utjecajem njegovog tjelesnog sjaja, svi bogovi vatre i ostali učesnici na tom skupu sa velikim iščekivanjem gospodina Brahme i gospodina Šive.
Ne, sa izuzetkom gospodina Brahme i Šive.
Ja, pravo si, da. Sa izuzetkom, hvala. Gospodina Brahme i gospodina Šive su napustili svoje sjedala i ustali se iz poštovanja prema Dakši.
You have two different versions or what?
No, I'm checking his translation, he made a mistake.
Okay, Daksha was adequately welcomed by the president of the Great Assembly, Lord Brahma. After offering Lord Brahma respect, Daksha, by the order of Brahma, properly took his seat.
Daksha je bio adekvatno dobrodošao od strane predsjednika ove velikog skupa gospodina Brahme i nakon što je odao poštovanje gospodinu Brahmi, Daksha je po naredbi Brahme zauzeo svoj sjedalo.
Evo ti ima ona.
428 now.
I can also, we can translate directly, it's not a big problem.
Možeš. Okej.
All right. 8. Before taking his seat, however, Daksha was very much offended to see Lord Shiva sitting and not showing him any respect. At that time, Daksha became greatly angry, and his eyes glowing, he began to speak very strongly against Lord Shiva.
Međutim, prije nego što je sjeo na svoje mjesto, Dakša je bio jako uvrijeđen kada je vidio gospodina Šivu kako sjedi i ne pokazuje mu nimalo poštovanja. U to se vrijeme Dakša silno naljutio i blistavih očiju počeo oštro govoriti protiv gospodina Šive.
So now this is what Daksha is speaking. All sages, brahmanas, fire gods present, please hear me with attention, for I speak about manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy.
Svi prisutni mudraci, brahmane i bogovi vatre, molim vas da me pažljivo saslušate, jer ja govorim o ponašanju nježnih osoba, ne govorim iz neznanja ili zavisti.
Shiva has spoiled the name and fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he is shameless, he does not know how to act.
Šiva je pokvario ime i slovo upravitelja svemira i zagadio stazu nježnih manira. Budući da je besreman, ne zna kako se ponašati.
Okay. He has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and brahmanas. He has married my daughter, who is equal to Gayatri, and has pretended to be just like an honest person.
On se već prihvatio kao moj podređeni, oženivši moju kćer u prisutnosti vatre i brahmana. Oženio je moju kćer koja je jednaka Gayatri i pretvarao se da je poštena osoba.
He has eyes like monkeys, yet he has married my daughter who has eyes just like those of a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words.
Ima oči kao majmuna, a ipak je oženio moju kćer, čije su oči kao mladunčeta jelena. Ipak nije ustao da me primi, niti je smatrao prikladnim poželjeti biti slatkim riječima dobrodošlicu.
I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all the rules of civility because of not honoring or not observing the required rules and regulations. He is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter because just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas.
Nisam imao želju dati svoju kćer ovoj osobi koja je prekršila sva pravila uljudnosti. Zbog nepoštivanja potrebnih pravila i propisa, on je nečist. Ali ja sam bila dužnost. Da, meni je bila dužnost predati mu svoju kćer, baš kao što se šudra podučava porukama Veda.
Okay, I'm going to skip to 16. On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him, although he is devoid of all cleanliness, and his heart is filled with nasty things. 16. Yes, come
Just
on.
a moment, I have to skip this one. Translate. Na zahtjev gospodina Brahme predao sam mu svoju čednu kćer, iako je lišen svake čistoće i srce mu je ispunjeno gadnim stvarima.
This rage Maitreya continued. Thus Daksha, seeing Lord Shiva sitting as if against him, washed his hands and mouth and cursed him with the following words.
Mudrac Maitreya nastavio. Tako je Dakša, vidjevši gospodina Šivu kako sjedi kao naspram njega, oprao ruke i usta i proklao ga sljedećim riječima.
The demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of the sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all the demigods, should not have a share.
Polubogovi imaju pravo sudjelovati u prinosima žrtvovanja, ali gospodin Šiva, koji je najniži od svih polubogova, ne bi trebao imati udio.
So, this became a big problem.
I ovo je postao veliki problem.
Throughout the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we read of many incidents where
Kroz,
the persons who are not received properly, this creates a big problem.
I kroz tradiciju Šima Bhagavatam imamo puno primjera o tome kako osobe od poštovanja nisu bile pravilno dočekane i zbog to je uzrokovalo velike probleme.
So this fiasco here, this is the beginning of a destruction, the killing of Daksha. This is the beginning of a big drama in which Daksha's daughter, she commits suicide, what's called sati, by setting herself on fire because of the actions of her father.
Ovo je bio tek početak fijaska koji je kasnije se pretvorio u veliki kaos. Sve je počelo time što je Sati, Dakšina kćerka, izvršila samoubojstvo pošto je se sama zapalila u vatri.
Zbog djelovanja njezina oca.
Zbog djelovanja njezina oca.
So who's right and who's wrong here?
I sad ko je pravo, ko je u krivu?
What we have here is the eternal conflict between the Prakrita Bhaktas, or the Kanishta Adhikaris, and the Uttama Adhikaris.
I ovdje imamo vječni konflikt između Bhakta početnika, odnosno Kanishta Adhikarija i Uttama Adhikarija.
You understand Kanishta?
Znate što je Kanishta?
Okay. So yes, the neophyte devotees and the Mahabhagavats.
Znači ovdje imamo Bhakte početnike i Mahabhagavate.
Now, what's going on here is that Daksha, he is seeing Lord Shiva in relationship to him in terms of the body.
Daksha je vidio gospodina Šivu povezanog u odnosu sa njim, ali na osnovu tijela.
Shiva is his son-in-law, therefore he thinks himself to be superior to Lord Shiva.
On je doživio gospodina Šivu kao svog zeta i zato se smatra da je superiorniji od njega.
And thus he's saying those things, and he's feeling offended by Lord Shiva's actions and rebuking him.
I on je bio uvrijeđen od djelovanja gospodina Šive i zato ga je grbio.
Lord Shiva, being the Mahabhagavat he is, he did not take offense.
Ali budući da je gospodin Šiva Mahabhagavata, on to nije primio kao uvredu.
He simply got up and he left the assembly.
Jednostavno se ustao i otišao s tog mjesta.
So, I said this is the eternal conflict between the Prakrita Bhaktas and the Uttama Adhikaris.
Rekao sam, postoji vječni konflikt između Prakrita Bhakta i Uttama Adhikarija.
And it's eternal because there will always be Prakrita Bhaktas.
I to je vječni konflikt jer uvijek će biti Bhakta početnika.
Prakrita Bhakta means materialistic devotee or neophyte, Kanishtas, same.
Prakrita Bhakta znači Bhakta početnik, Bhakta materialista.
There will always be such devotees.
Uvijek će biti takvih Bhakta.
And the characteristic of those devotees is that they think themselves to be the best devotee.
I karakteristika takvih Bhakta je u tome da oni se smatraju da su oni najbolji.
In fact, they think everybody should be a devotee like them.
I oni misle, svi bi trebali biti Bhakti kao što su oni.
And so, the unfortunate situation is that the neophyte devotees, do not have any basis for which to understand who is who.
Bhakti početnici nemaju neku osnovu zbog koje mogu shvatiti tko je tko.
And so what they do is they confuse some materialistic attributes to be a symbol of spiritual advancement.
I oni smatraju da su nekakvi materialistički atributi znak duhovnog napretka.
So, Daksha, he had great effulgence, he had a very high position, everybody was giving him respect.
Daksha je imao svoj sjaj, imao je veoma uzvišenu poziciju, svi su ga štovali.
except Lord Shiva.
osim gospodina Šive.
Well, Lord Shiva, in this pastime, Lord Shiva was meditating and actually didn't notice that Daksha came in.
I za vrijeme ove zabave, zapravo gospodin Šiva je bio u meditaciji, čak nije ni primijetio da je Dakša došao.
But beyond that, Lord Shiva is one of the guna avatars. He's a personality in charge of Tamagun.
I pored toga, gospodin Šiva je jedan od guna avatara, on je zadužen za gunu neznanja, Tamaguna.
One of the three most powerful personalities in the material universe.
Znači, on je jedan od tri najmoćnije osobe u univerzumu.
So he's estimating Daksha is estimating himself based on material consideration instead of seeing the spiritual position of Lord Shiva.
I Daksha je procjenjivao sebe bazirano na materijalnim razmatranjima i nije mogao shvatiti uzvišenu poziciju Šive.
So he makes offense, and then Sati commits suicide, and then there's a big battle, big fiasco, and Daksha is killed.
Znači, on je napravio uredu, gospodinu Šivi, Sati, Šivina žena, je izvršila samoubojstvo i nastao je veliki fijasko u kojem na kraju Daksha bio ubijen.
Now, this you'll find, the same thing you'll find throughout the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
I tu istu stvar možete nalaziti kroz stranice Srimad Bhagavatama.
In terms of who is who.
U smislu tko je tko.
Okay? Who is the advanced devotee?
Tko je uzvišeni bhakta?
How can we understand who is an advanced devotee?
Kako možemo shvatiti tko je uzvišeni bhakta?
Well, it's not so easy.
Pa nije jednostavno.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he explains something very significant.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta je objasnio nešto veoma bitno.
He said it's impossible to know who is a Vaishnava except by the mercy of that Vaishnava.
On je rekao, nemoguće je znati tko je uzvišeni Vaishnava osim pomoću milosti tog Vaishnava.
He said there's no external marks or rituals that can indicate who is an advanced Vaishnava.
Znači, ne moraju biti nikakva izvanjska obilježja ili nikakvi rituali koji bi ukazivali na to da je to uzvišeni Vaishnava.
It's not their dress, it's not their position, it's not their title. None of those, all of those things are material, and they have nothing absolutely to do with somebody's spiritual position.
Znači, to nije njihova odjeća, to nije njihova titula, sve te stvari nemaju nikakve veze sa njihovom duhovnom pozicijom.
Bhaktisiddhanta says if one could if one could perfectly perform all of the rituals that were handed down from his father to son, in a gotra of brahmanas, still you couldn't understand if he's a perfect Vaishnava or not.
Čak ako neko veoma detaljno i s puno pažnje izvodi sve rituale kao što su njegovi preci, to uvijek ne znači da je on savršeni Vaishnava ili ne.
He said it is never possible to find out who is a Vaishnava by external symbols.
Nije moguće shvatiti ko je uzvišeni Vaishnava samo na osnovu vanjskih simptoma.
So this is challenging for us.
I to je izazov za nas.
Because in a culture, we have to have, let's say culture means etiquette, it means how do we relate to each other.
Kultura znači način kako se mi odnosimo jedni prema drugima.
And so there's seniors, there's juniors, and there must be a proper relationship between them.
Postoje oni koji su stariji i koji su mlađi i postoji određeni način ophođenja među njima.
And in society there are marks or indications of who is senior and who is junior.
I u društvu postoje naznake koje ukazuju na to ko je mlađi, a ko je stariji.
So the brahmanas and sannyasis, they're considered the topmost position of society.
Brahmane i sanjasi se smatraju da je njihova pozicija najuzvišenija u društvu.
And everybody, it's to their benefit to show them respect.
I svako ima dobrobit kada njima odaje poštovanje.
So we have to have that so that we have a smoothly functioning society.
Tako da imamo društvo koje funkcionira bez ikakvih problema.
So while that may go on socially, that does not indicate, however, who is actually spiritually advanced.
Znači to na društvenoj razini se tako može odvijati, ali to još uvijek ne označava ko je duhovno najuzvišeniji.
So let's take some examples of this.
Hajde da damo nekoliko primjera toga.
Let's take the example, let's think of this in terms of form and substance.
Hajde da mislimo o tome bazirano na formi i suštini.
So, substance means who is actually a spiritually advanced devotee, and form means somebody who has the appearance of somebody that has some appearance or some indicator that they are in a high position.
Substanca znači da je neko duhovno napredan, a forma ukazuje na to da postoje neke naznake izvanjske da je on uzvišen.
So, let's take the example of Lord Chaitanya himself.
Evo, na primjer, gospodin Chaitanya osobno.
Lord Chaitanya, of course, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Naravno, on je uzvišena božanska osoba.
But he's thinking, people aren't showing me proper respect. They think I'm just a sentimentalist because I'm chanting Harinam.
I on je mislio, ljudi mi ne daju pravilno poštovanje, oni misle da sam ja nekakav sentimentalist koji pjeva Harinam.
So Navadvip at that time, that was the center of learning. There was many great pundits and very intelligent pundits, scholars and so on, but still they didn't have the adhikar, they didn't have the ability to understand who Lord Chaitanya was.
Nalaznik je u to vrijeme bio centar učenosti, bilo puno učenjaka, ali nisu imali adhikar, nisu imali kvalifikacije da shvate ko je Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bio.
So what did Lord Chaitanya do?
I što je učinio gospodin Chaitanya?
He took sannyas.
Uzeo sannyas.
He adopted the external symbols of a spiritually advanced person so that everybody would give him respect. And by doing that, at least they would make spiritual progress.
Prihvatio je određena obilježja tako što je uzeo sannyas, tako da bi drugi shvatili njegov položaj i odali mu poštovanje i na taj način pravili duhovni napredak.
So of course, Lord Chaitanya, he's, the complete substance, but he had to adopt the form so that they would show him respect.
Gospodin Chaitanya, on je potpuna suština, ali on je morao prihvatiti formu da bi mu drugi dali poštovanje.
Let's think of another example. How about the gopis?
Na primjer, gopije, još jedan primjer.
Simple village girls.
One su bile jednostavne seoske djevojke.
No position in society, no nothing, they're just young girls.
Nisu imale nikakvu poziciju u društvu, bile su samo mlade djevojke.
No particular form.
Znači nije bilo neke određene forme.
But they had the highest substance.
Ali imali su najuzvišeniju suštinu.
Because of their complete love and surrender to Krishna, they were the best devotees.
Ali zbog svoje ljubavi i predanosti Krišni, oni su bile najbolje od bakta.
So we have indications of form, let's say, substance without form. Let's look at form without substance.
Sad smo govorili o suštini bez forme, ali ajde sad da pogledamo o formu bez suštine.
Any guesses anybody can say? Suggest something? How about the personality of Kali?
Na primjer, osobnost Kalija.
from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
iz prvog pjevanja Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Parikshit, he's touring his kingdom to see how everything is, and he comes upon Kali harming the bull Dharma, wearing the dress of a king.
Kralj Parikšit je imao turneju po svom kraljevstvu i naišao je na Kalija koji je...
Kali.
Kali, ali but in Croatian language we say da osobu Kalija. Kalija.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but this is Croatian. I taj Kali je, on je gnjavio bika Dharmu, ali je bio obučen u odjeću kralja.
Why is he wearing the dress of a king?
Zašto je nosio odjeću kralja?
Because normal people, the average citizen, they'll think, they won't suspect anything is wrong. This person is dressed like a king, there must be some reason that he's doing what he's doing.
I on je obmanuo normalne, kako ti kažemo, obične ljude koji su mislili, aha, on nosi odjeću kralja, onda znači normalno to što on čini.
But King Parikshit, not an ordinary person.
Ali kralj Parikšit nije bio obična osoba.
He had the adhikar to understand something is wrong here.
On je imao sposobnost da shvati ovdje nešto krivo.
Because somebody who's an actual king does not behave like this person is behaving.
Jer netko ko je pravi kralj, on se ne bi ponašao kao ova osoba.
So Kali's had taken on the form, but no substance.
Znači, kralj je imao formu vanjsku, ali nije imao suštinu.
How about Putana?
Putana je drugi primjer,
Putana's, she changed her ghastly Rakshasi form into a beautiful woman to try to poison baby Krishna.
Ona je izmijenila svoj zastrašujući oblik Rakshasi u preljepi oblik lijepe djevojke kako s ciljem da bi otrovala Krishnu.
And even Mother Yasoda and the other cowherd women, they just thought, oh, the goddess of fortune has come. Oh, yes, please, let my baby suckle from you.
Čak Majka Šoda i druge žene iz sela su mislile, o, kako lijepa djevojka, da, molim te, dođi ovdje, podoji moje dijete.
But Krishna understood.
Ali Krishna shvatio.
Right? So Krishna, he could distinguish between the form and the substance.
Krishna je mogao napraviti razliku između forme i suštine.
Anything else? Anybody? Suggestion? Either one. Form or substance, or substance and form.
Jadavarata.
Jadavar. Okay, go ahead. Explain. In English first.
Okay, Jadavarata, he had a substance, but he didn't have external form. He was Mahabhagavata, but he kept low profile to bewilder everybody, so that other people could think that he was low-class person. He was eating in filthy places, and he wasn't properly clean. His hair was disheveled, and his father, who was a Brahmana, taught him Brahminical. Wanted him to be a Brahmana, but he was doing everything opposite. So
that's his form. What about his substance?
But his substance was that he was when they kept him, some people kept him in order to carry the palanquin of the Hugana, and then he didn't want to step on ants. And then this was the jerking trouble for King Hugana, and then he was protesting. Who is this person? Why don't you walk steadily? And then Jadavarata started speaking the nice philosophy, indicating that even the ants are living entities. And then he went on speaking high philosophy, and then King Hugana understood actually that he was Mahabharata.
Okay, translation.
Jadavarata je imao suštinu, on je bio Mahabharata, ali nije imao formu. On je bio sin Brahmane, njegov otac Brahmana učio ga je da i on postane Brahmana, ali on je radio sve obrnuto. Jeo je na prljavim mjestima, čuvao je svinje, imao je raspuštenu onakvu petljanu kosu i kad su sluge kralja Bugane trebali jednog nosača nosiljke, onda su uzeli njega, mislim su da on pogodan jer je bio jak, i onda on, kako su oni hodali, on izbjegavao da stane na mrave jer ih nije htio zgaziti. Ali to je ljuljalo tu, kako te kažem, neravnomjerno su nosili tu nosiljku i kralj se bunio. I onda je grdio Džadbaretu i Džadbaret onda počeo najuzvišeniju filozofiju govoriti i onda kako je on shvatio kao ovo je uzvišena osoba.
Okay, somebody else? Come on. Think.
Two.
Okay, give one.
Good one. Okay, then it's Vritrasura. Vritrasura.
Vritrasura.
Previous Chitraketu Maharaj.
Yes, go ahead, explain. You want to
In English or
English first and then
Okay.
Persian.
So Vritrasura is in form of demon. Previously he was king. It's called Chitraketu. And he was once looking above on the airplane in the sky, looking at the Shiva and Parvati. Lord Shiva teached the great munis and yogis about renunciation, but till doing that he had his wife Parvati on his lap. And when Chitraketu saw that, he started to laugh. It's like, how can somebody teach about renunciation and simultaneously have the wife on his lap? So then when Parvati noticed that, she became very angry and cursed Chitraketu to become demon. And Chitraketu accepted that, and in the next life he was born like Vritrasura. But then there was the big fight between Vritrasura, like demon, and Indra. And King Indra tried to, anyway, it's a long story to make it short. And in the end, Indra realized that actually Vritrasura is one who is great devotee, and even if Indra killed Vritrasura, Indra understood that he is the one who losing the battle, and Vritrasura is one who is winning, because Vritrasura went after that back to Godhead.
So he had the form of a demon, but the substance of a devotee.
Yeah, but he was pure devotee in that
Okay,
sense.
so translate that.
Dakle, priča o kralju Chitraketu, koji je letio nebeskim letjelicom i vidio je na Kailašu gospodina Šivu kako podučava velike mudrace i jogije odvojenosti. Međutim, dok je to činio, Parvati je sjedila na njegovom krilu. Ne? I Parvati kada je primijetila kako se on smije toj sceni koja izgleda kontradiktorno, ali to pokazuje uzvišenost gospodina Šive, ona se naljutila i proklela ga je da postane demon. I taj isti kralj, Chitraketu, u sljedećem životu je postao Vritrasura, dakle, i on se borio sa kraljem ralja Indrom i on je praktično mogao pobijediti Indru, on je praktično pustio da ga Indra pobijedi i održao mu je lekciju o tome tko je zbilja pobjednik, a tko je gubitnik, i onda je u stvari pokazao svoju božansku svijest. I na taj način, iako je Indra izvanski pobjedio, Indra je izgubio jer je shvatio da je nečist, a Vritrasura je otišao nazad kući Bogu.
Thank you. How about Chaitanya Lila?
A iz čitanja Lile, neki primjer?
Kovača Šida.
Kolavecha Sridhar, explain.
English?
First English.
Yeah, okay, because recording. Kovača Šida is extremely poor devotee of the Lord Chaitanya. He made his life earnings by selling banana leaves. Actually, banana leaves and cups made from banana leaves. And he lived in like completely deteriorated hut, and is extremely poor because you cannot earn much money with that. It's like minimum of minimum. But he has a great love of the Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is regularly, every day, coming to his stand and bargaining with him and teasing him and trying to like take almost for nothing, even if he getting so little from that. Lord Chaitanya was always thinking, I want to take for nothing and like that. So, but on the end, Lord Chaitanya discovered how great devotee is Croatia Sridhar. He went to his hut and he drink water from all the rusty pot which used Croatia Sridhar for his own needs. Like it's like so, and he said, "I'm drinking the greatest nectar from the pot of Croatia Sridhar." So that's because he was so low on the. Actually, Croatia Sridhar was so great devotee that he would cry during the night in love and separation of the Lord. And the neighbors will think that he's so poor that he doesn't have anything to eat. So he was like starving from pain in the stomach. They was thinking he's crying because he's so hungry. And so that's the misunderstanding.
So he's got the substance but not the form.
Yeah, he had the substance, but he didn't have form. He was like very, very without form. I mean, not in the Bible sense, but doesn't have position in society.
Croatian?
Okay, yes.
Skip the details as much as
Okay. Croatia Sridhar je bio vrlo siromašni bhakta gospodina Chaitanya koji je zarađivao za svoj život prodajući lišće banana i čaše i posudice napravljene od tog lišća. I gospodin Chaitanya je uvijek dolazio svaki dan i bio je toliko veliki bhakta gospodina Chaitanya da on u stvari noći bi čak plakao i jaukao u odvojenosti od gospodina, a susjedi su mislili da on jauče zato što je jedan gladan, što niš nije prodao i zaradio i nema šta jest, pa od muke da zavine, ne? I kuka za Krišnom. Ne od sreće, nego od muke. Sad gospodin Chaitanya dolazi uvijek svaki dan kod njega, on je znao koliko je veliki bhakta. Iako je tako malo zarađivao, gospodin Chaitanya bi se svađao s njim i prepirao i zahtijevao da mu proda po nižoj cijeni, iako je bilo maksimalno, najniža cijena. I na taj način su oni imali razmjenu. I gospodin Chaitanya je redovito dolazio i to je bila njihova rasa. I onda je gospodin Chaitanya jednom prilikom otišao u dom Croatia Sridhara koji je bio stara koliba koja je bila u raspadu i uzeo je posudu koju on koristio za razne stvari, zarđavu posudu i počeo piti vode iz nje i rekao ovo je najveći nektar koji mogu doživjeti. Znači Croatia Sridhar nije imao formu, nije imao poziciju, znači bio potpuno na dnu društva, kao po nekom staležu, ali je imao čistu ljubav prema gospodinu Chaitanya, toliko da je gospodin redovito dolazio i želio biti u njegovom društvu i zadektivao ga i tražio nižu cijenu.
Okay, so not you two, everybody else, come on, you have to come up with one.
Neko još drugi, ajde da...
Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Pundarika Vidyanidhi.
Okay, explain.
But maybe somebody can explain in English because it's hard for me.
You can say in Croatian, go ahead.
No, he can say in Croatian, in English, and
Okay, say in English, you'll translate.
Yeah.
But you know the story. Can you maybe explain?
No, you have to say in your words.
Okay, I don't remember when Srivasa Pandit brought Gadadhar Pandit to Pundarika Vidyanidhi. He wanted to show him pure devotee. And when he came to Pundarika Vidyanidhi, he saw he was sitting on a big place like Vyasasana or some big chair. Coach.
They thought he was a Vishayi, this
Yes.
the sense gratifier.
And he was smoking kalyan. and yes, Gadadhar Pandit was thinking it's Vishayi, he just enjoy life and Srivasa Pandit he understood his mood of Gadadhar Pandit and he started to say one shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Pundarika Vidyanidhi he manifested his real position, his real level of devotion.
That's a wonderful example. So he has the substance but not the form.
Pundarika Vidyanidhi je imao suštinu, ali nije imao vanjsku formu.
Can you translate? Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that it was Shiva's pandit who showed Gadadhar.
Whatever.
It was,
Okay. All right, the details are.
da, neko od uzvišenih bakta je poveo Gadadhar pandita i doveo ga do Pundarika Vidyanidhija. I kad su oni došli tamo, Pundarika Vidyanidhi je živio u slubi kadifio, obučen veoma raskošno, kuhali su za njega najbolju hranu, hladile su ga neke sluškinje. I Gadadhar pandit je misli, pa ovo je običan višaj, ovo je čulni uživalac, kakav je ovo bakta. I ovaj bakta koji je došao sa Gadadhar panditom, koji je to prodio, shvatio je Gadadhara i onda je citirao jedan stih iz Šrimad Bhagavatama. Kad je Pundarika Vidyanidhi čuo taj stih iz Šrimad Bhagavatama, obuzeli su ga simptomi ekstaze da se počeo valjati po podu. I onda je Gadadhar pandit shvatio o kako velikoj osobi se radi i kasnije je poslao njegov učenik.
Okay, good. Now it's the ladies' turn. Come on.
Mataji's.
I'm trying to find, I remember the story of that Goswami that was sleeping in the toilet. I cannot remember his name.
Gorkishore Dasvami.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that because he was sleeping,
No, it's Vanshi Dasvami. Oh, yeah.
No, I think that.
I think it's Gora.
Gorkishore, okay.
Yes.
Gorkishore. Yes.
Yeah.
He escaped the materialistic prison.
You're the teacher, be quiet.
Yeah. He had only japa and indeed that was it of all his material possessions, I think. And one point he was sleeping on the floor, in the toilet. So he said that the toilet does not stink that much as the smell from the materialistic smell from the mouth from the materialistic person.
So he has form or substance?
I think he has substance.
Say the Croatian, please.
Znači, Gorkishore Das Babaji spavao je u toaletu, nije od uvijek, on je imao prije i obitelj i mislim da je živio nekim normalnim životom, ali to kako se sve više krenuo odvajati, onda je samo u jednom momentu krenuo spavati u toaletu i rekao je čak u jednom momentu da je zadah iz usta materialističke osobe puno ima veći smrad nego toalet. I zato je volio spavati u toaletu, zato što mu niko tamo nije smetao dok mantra i to. I jedino imao džapu i možda nešto za obuću. Isto, to su mu bile jedine materijalne posjedovanja.
Okay. Anything?
No. I have a low memory.
Okay, anyway, there's many more examples.
Dakle, ima puno još takvih primjera.
Throughout the pages, both the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Puno takvih primjera i kroz stranice Šrimad Bhagavatama i Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Just one other quick one, Haridas Thakur.
Evo, Haridas Thakur je na primjer, jeste.
Born in a Muslim family,
Bio rođen u muslimanskoj obitelji,
but Lord Chaitanya made him Namacharya.
ali Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ga je napravio Namacharya.
And about Rupa and Sanatana,
Rupa i Sanatana Goswami.
again, serving the Muslims, but they're the greatest devotees.
Služili su muslimana, ali su bili najveći bakti.
So Lord Chaitanya, he specifically took those who did not have the form but had the substance, and he gave them prominent roles in his in spreading his movement.
I gospodin Chaitanya je namjerno birao takve bakte koji su imali suštinu, ali ne vanjsku formu. I postavljao ih je na vodeće pozicije da bi se proširio pokret.
And that's specifically for Kali Yuga because there's a lot of that going on now.
I to je naročito specifično za Kali Yugu, jer puno toga se odvija.
I mean, because people are so easily fooled. They're so foolish and easily fooled. So people, they just change their clothes and they become, God man.
Ljude je vrlo lako prevariti i napraviti budale od njih. Neko se samo prebuče odjeću i postane sveta osoba.
So, now this does not only go on in Christian consciousness, but it's around the whole world.
To se ne događa samo u svjesnosti Krišne, već u cijelom svijetu.
We're all probably from Catholic background, so what about the Pope? What do you think?
Što mislite o papi? Evo, mi smo sad iz katoličke tih obitelji. Što mislite o papi?
Any substance there?
Ili ima neka suština kod pape?
No.
Nema.
So, you know, the Pope, you know, I don't know about Muslims, any of them, but, you know, the same thing. It's going on everywhere.
Ne znam kako je kod muslimana, ali ista stvar, to se posvuda događa.
And we can even take this into material, the material realm.
I to isto možemo razmatrati na materijalnom razinu.
How about the doctors now?
Kako, na primjer, doktor?
Are they actually healing people, or are they simply keeping them sick?
Da li doktori liječe ljude ili drže ljude bolestima?
They have the form, but they don't have the substance.
Oni imaju formu, ali nemaju suštinu.
Government, people in government,
Ljudi iz vlade,
they have the form, they've got the position, the title, but they're suitors or less. They're simply serving themselves.
oni imaju vanjsku formu, imaju titule, ali oni su zapravo niskoklasni šudre i služe sami sebe.
So it doesn't matter, because we're in Kali Yuga. No matter where we go, every aspect of our lives now has this problem, this duality of form and substance, and people, they capture the form, but they don't have the substance.
Znači, gdje god da idemo u ovom dobu Kali Juge, u kojem god aspektu nailazimo na takve koji imaju vanjsku formu, ali nemaju suštinu.
So, we have to keep this in mind.
I ovo zapamtite.
And particularly for our spiritual lives,
I naročito za naše duhovne živote.
that we must be careful in terms of how much of who we give credence to.
Moramo biti jako pažljivi kome odajemo, kome pridajemo veliki značaj.
Were you folks here yesterday?
Svi bili ovdje jučer.
Okay. Yeah. So yesterday, she asked a question about how to one understand who is a proper spiritual master for, you know, who is the best proper spiritual master for me.
Ona je pitala jučer koji je najbolji duhovni učitelj za mene.
Now, in this situation, there's many young devotees. They read Prabhupada's books. They read that they should get a spiritual master. They should be initiated, and so they're trying to see, okay, who is my spiritual master? And they see form, but they don't know, and if they don't have the substance, they can't evaluate the substance.
Na primjer, mladi bakte znaju da trebaju dobiti inicijaciju, to su pročitali u knjigama, i onda gledaju ko će biti njihov duhovni učitelj, i onda samo gledaju ovako izvanski, ali nisu kvalificirani da vide suštinu, nego gledaju samo vanjsku formu.
So, what was my answer?
To je bio moj odgovor.
You said that basic thing is to follow a heart.
Yeah, the answer is one should not judge from the head, the mind, but rather from the heart. Who is the heart attracted to?
Znači, ne bismo trebali razmišljati umom, nego srcem, s kojom osobom je naše srce privučeno.
So, but there's another part I was thinking about afterwards that I should say.
Ali ima još jedan drugi dio, ja sam kasnije razmišljao o tom što sam još trebao reći.
So, this is particularly for women.
I naročito za žene.
Because nobody can serve two masters.
Jer niko ne može služiti dva gospodara.
And a woman naturally she is serving her husband.
Žena služi svog muža.
So she should take in traditional Vedic culture, the husband is the spiritual master, the spiritual leader for the wife.
U tradicionalnoj vedskoj kulturi muž je duhovni vođa svoje žene.
Now, exceptions have been made to that in the modern day by both Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada.
Iznimke.
Primjeri tog su Srila Bhaktisiddhanta i Srila Prabhupada.
But this is, and it's been carried on by my god brothers also.
I to su nastavili isto moja braća po Bogu.
But it's led to some disasters.
Ali to je dovelo do nekih katastrofalnih posljedica.
Where the woman will reject her husband in favor of the guru.
Bilo je slučajeva da su žene odbacile svoje muževe tako da bi prigrlile vodstvo gurua.
Now, ideally, the husband is going to be a stalwart devotee and worthy of being the spiritual master of his wife.
Idealno bi bilo da je muž stari iskusni bhakta i duhovni lider svoje žene.
But this is not always the case.
Ali to nije uvijek slučaj.
So, Kali Yuga things are difficult.
U Kali Yugi stvari su veoma teške.
In any case, in this particular regard, Srila Prabhupada is the spiritual master for all of us.
I u ovom slučaju Srila Prabhupada je duhovni učitelj svih nas.
We're all reading his books.
Mi svi čitamo njegove knjige.
We learn about spiritual life probably more from Prabhupada than we would from our own initiating guru.
I mi o duhovnom životu naučimo više od Srila Prabhupada nego od našeg gurua koji nam je dao inicijaciju.
And so Prabhupada is guru for all of us.
Tako da je Srila Prabhupada guru za sve nas.
We should understand that.
I to trebamo shvatiti.
More than that, Prabhupada is the acharya.
I još više od toga Srila Prabhupada je acharya.
He's the acharya who is showing the way for all of us.
Srila Prabhupada je acharya koji svima nam pokazuje put.
And so, because his teachings have been, his legacy, his teachings, his legacy have been put into print, where we can refer to them again and again. Therefore, they are a guide for all of us.
Njegova učenja i njegova duhovna baština su naštampani u obliku knjiga koji su vodilja za sve nas.
So, if your husband is not the ideal spiritual master that he might be, take shelter of Srila Prabhupada.
Ako vaš suprug nije baš idealan kao duhovni vođa, onda uzmite utočište Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, I'll stop there.
Evo, sad ja tu stao.
I'll answer questions.
Ima neko pitanje?
Thank you for the class. I have a question about this conflict between Lord Shiva and Daksha. How Daksha didn't understand the position of Shiva because he's very intelligent person and he knows all Vedas. And in Vedas written that about position of Lord Shiva, how is it possible?
Moje pitanje je u odnosu Dakše i Šive. Kako Dakša nije mogao shvatiti uzvišeni položaj gospodina Šive, jer smatrao se da je veoma inteligentan, pošto je poznavao Vede.
Daksha was also a materialist.
Dakša je isto bio materialist.
And he was enamored with his own position.
I bio je očinjen svojom vlastitom pozicijom.
Like most people, they have a position.
Kao što većina ljudi ima poziciju.
Right? This is called
u rajskim.
Aha, ne.
Did you say heaven?
Ne, rajski.
Sorry.
Nego,
Who have position?
So, like we were explaining the other day about false ego, right?
Neki dan smo govorili o vašem ego.
So my false ego, oh, I have a position, a title, I'm somebody.
Evo, ja imam poziciju, titulu, ja sam neko.
And so this is Dutch's problem.
I to je bio Dakšin problem.
You know, he's thinking again in material terms. He married my daughter, therefore he's my subordinate.
On je razmišljao na materijalnoj razini, on je oženio moju kćerku i znači je nepodređen meni.
And if she had married any other man, that would be true. But she married Lord Shiva, who is one of the Guna avatars.
I dakle bi bio pravo da je ona udala se za bilo kog drugog čovjeka, ali ona se udala za gospodina Šivu, koji je Guna avatar.
Being bewildered by form, he couldn't see the substance of Lord Shiva.
Ali pošto je bio zbunjen vanjskom formom, nije vidio suštinu gospodina Šive.
And you'll see this everywhere also.
I vi ćete to posvuda vidjeti.
Right? Whoever has form, they think that's who they are, and they become bewildered by it.
Kogod ima neku formu, ostali misle, to je on takav i ljudi su zbunjeni s tim.
As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, if you think you are guru, you are guru.
Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati je rekao, ako misliš da si guru, onda si zapravo guru.
Guru.
Šta je goru?
What guru means?
Go means cow.
To znači krava.
So, yeah, and many gurus, they think they are gurus.
Mnogi guru misle samo da su guruvi.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, I'm how do you put it? I'm the servant of my disciples. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Što Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj je smatrao da on sluga svojih učenika.
I'm learning from my disciples.
Ja učim od svojih učenika.
And we see this in government, right? The policeman who's breaking the law and he says, I am the law.
I možemo to vidjeti u vladi, možemo vidjeti u policiji, koje policajci recimo krše zakon i onda kažu ja sam zakon.
So yeah, it's, why? Because the false ego is what? I and mine. And so we have a tendency, we forget this and we become enamored by what our position is and what we have.
I lažni ego funkcionira na osnovi ja i moje i onda zaboravimo svoju pravu poziciju i zaboravimo svoju pravu poziciju.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I have one question. I'm sorry. I'm just, yesterday when Biljana started to ask this question, regarding I was forced to go out. So now you shortly said one should follow his heart. So I'm a little bit surprised with such an answer because I didn't have time to listen, sorry. But I'm just thinking generally people, maybe you just shortly clarify, generally people when they say I'm following my heart, it means they're following their emotion. At least in this part of the world. So I'm a little bit surprised with that answer, so maybe you can just elaborate, not much.
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Kada sam čuo ovo pitanje da je Biljana postavljajući pitanje kako prepoznati guru, Maharaj je odgovorio da osoba treba slijediti svoje srce. Sad ja sam u tom trenutku izašao van pa nisam čuo možda potpuno odgovor, a ukratko njegov odgovor je bio da treba slijediti srce i moje sad pitanje da obično ljudi kad kažu da slijede srce, slijede svoje emocije, pa me to malo zbunjuje i zamolio sam da malo elaboriram na tu temu.
So it's very important to be able to distinguish between the heart and the mind.
Jako je važno da napravimo razliku između srca i uma.
Again, the business of the mind is to accept and reject on the basis of sense gratification.
Posao uma je da prihvaća i odbacuje stvari bazirano na čulnom uživanju.
So sense gratification is also emotions.
Čulno uživanje je također emocija.
That's the mind.
Pardon, također emocije spadaju pod to.
Osjetilno.
Da, osjetilno, spadaju pod
emocije.
Okay. So that's the mind. The sense gratification means mind.
Čulno uživanje znači um.
What do we mean by follow your heart?
Što mislimo kad kažemo slijeđenje srca?
what is, what do I yearn for?
Za čime ja žudim?
If I'm hearing a particular guru speak, is it touching my heart or not?
Ako ja slušam određenog gurua kako on govori, da li njegove riječi dodiruju moje srce ili ne?
We all probably have some experience that we're hungry for spiritual life, and when we hear that truth, it touches our heart.
Mi koji smo gladni duhovnog znanja, ako čujemo, vjerojatno imamo to iskustvo, ako čujemo nečije riječi tako, one dodiruju naše srce.
And this, for example, in Krishna consciousness, we call it, the taste of Krishna consciousness, for which we hanker again and again.
U svjesnosti Krišne mi to kažemo da je to ukus za svjesnost Krišne za kojim žudimo ponovo i ponovo.
So it's important to learn to distinguish for that, not only in spiritual life, but in life in general.
Ne samo u duhovnom životu, nego općenito treba napraviti razliku između uma i srca.
Young people, what should I do with my life? Well, follow your heart.
Mladi ljudi se pitaju što da ja radim u svom životu, slijedi svoje srce.
I didn't do that as a young man, it was a big mistake.
Međutim, ja to nisam radio kao mladi čovjek, pa sam napravio veliku grešku.
Yeah, big mistake.
Veliku grešku.
But I started doing it but I have a master's degree in engineering.
Ja sam imao diplomu kao inženjer.
As soon as I graduated, I joined the Hare Krishna movement.
Znači, čim sam diplomirao, pridružio sam se Hare Krishna pokretu.
My mother's thinking, my son is crazy. What's he doing?
Moja mama misla da moj sin je poludio, što on to radi.
I put him through school, he's got this great education, and he's going off with those crazy people.
Završio je svoju školu, imao visoko obrazovanje i sad ode s ovim glumim ljudima.
I was following my heart.
Ja sam slijedio moje srce.
That's what I wanted to do.
I to je ono što sam ja htio učiniti.
Engineering didn't mean anything.
Posao inženjera nije značio ništa.
So yeah, it's important to follow our heart in all regards.
Znači, u svakom slučaju trebamo, bitno je da slijedimo svoje srce.
And if we do that, we'll never make a mistake. We'll always be happy with the choice that we made.
I ako tako činimo, nikad nećemo napraviti grešku i bit ćemo zadovoljni s izborom koji smo napravili.
You look like you're not convinced by that answer.
Ne izgledaš mi baš jako uvjeren.
No, I'm just analyzing what you speak. The problem is a little bit in terminology. Because in this part of the world, when you have heart, it's always mind, it's always emotion. But in this sense, I believe that it's intelligence which coming from super soul. So that's because terminology which you use can be completely wrong understood in this part of the world. That's why, especially for Slavic, because they're very emotional in the people in this part, Slavic people, so to say. So that's why I want to clarify that. I understand you're speaking about the Paramatma, actually, to hear in the heart Paramatma. Otherwise, people generally, they say, oh, my heart, I feel pain in my heart. It's all emotional, so just
Sentimental.
Okay.
Sentimental.
Okay, now say that in Croatian,
Yeah,
if you
yes,
can,
yes,
but
yes.
succinctly, because I want to reply to what
Znači, ja sam samo Maharaj rekao da možda ne izgledam, da sam izgledao kao začuđen, ja sam rekao da analiziram njegove riječi i onda sam upao s time da mislim da je problem u tome što termine koje on koristi na našem, u ovom dijelu svijeta među Slavenima, se kad kaže srce uvijek se odnosi na emocije. I onda sam u stvari rekao da se vjerojatno bolje možda termin i u ovom dijelu svijeta, barem mi smo navikli na inteligenciju koja dolazi od nad duše, evo bazično.
So, you said about super soul. Generally, neophytes, they're not hearing super soul.
Početnici ne mogu čuti nadu dušu.
But they, from the heart, what's the emotion? What is, what's my deep desire?
Koja je moja duboka želja?
So, is it super soul? Maybe there's some aspect of that, but maybe not.
Da li je to nad duša? Možda postoji neki aspekti toga, ali možda i ne.
In fact, the neophyte devotee takes initiation because the bona fide guru is the external manifestation of the super soul to give guidance to the neophyte.
I početnici uzmu inicijaciju jer od gurua se očekuje da je vanjska manifestacija nad duše koja diktira iznutra iz srca.
I would like to join in this train, so to speak. In Croatia, Serbia, Slovenia, I don't know one person, devotee or non-devotee, that doesn't follow his heart.
Really?
Slavic people are like that. Gangs, drugs, you name it. They all follow their heart. I used to do drugs. I used to be a member of so-called gang and so on. And I followed my heart. And I wasn't happy. Deep down inside me, I wanted to be happy, but I didn't know how to be happy. And my ego was, well, taller than this room, bigger than this room. So I didn't want to listen.
Okay.
Sorry, and that's only one example. That's me. It applies to all the Slavic people.
Okay, well, we have to stop the translate.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Znači, ideja je da ja osobno ne poznajem nijednu osobu na području Hrvatske, Slovenije, Srbije koja ne slijedi svoje srce, bila ona bakta ili ne bakta. Da li oni se drogirali, da li bili članovi neke bande, da li ovako, da li onako, oni svi slijede svoje srce. Pa evo, moj komentar je vezan za prethodno pitanje, pa bi volio čuti što Maharaš kaže. Zato malo iznenađen sa time što sam rekao. Thank you.
I want to challenge your allegation that all Slavic people follow their heart. Now, does anybody else who agrees with that?
Evo, ja ću vas sad malo izazvati u vezi ove izjave da svi Slaveni slijede svoje srce. I disagree.
I also disagree because I also know that before I wanted to be happy also, but I was trying out some things and it never led to the result that I was looking for. So I just gave up and like, okay, this is gonna be my life forever, and wasn't doing things, wasn't doing anything basically. But that's my experience.
Oh.
Da, to sam rekla da u biti ne slažem se jer sam ja isto pokušavala biti sretna, ali nisam znala više kako to postići jer što god sam probala nije uspjevala, nisam samo odustala, nisam više radila ništa i zapravo shvatila sam da ne znam ni sebe ni druge oko sebe u sreći.
Dobro, ja ću reći isto da pa će prevesti. Pa isto sam tako osjetio u tom materijalnom svijetu jedno nezadovoljstvo, svaki dan isti, ništa se ne mijenja, šta ja znam, pa čak bilo je malo i alkohola i svega. Tako da, i kad sam došao tu na prvo predavanje koje je održao Kakudmi, to je bilo prije 5 godina, to me eto privuklo, zainteresiralo i evo sad, tu sam, možda nisam puno napravio, ali već osjećam da je to i nema više nazad.
I, as a person of this material world, I felt great dissatisfaction with any aspect of my life, and then I started taking even alcohol, so I was deeply dissatisfied. And then 5 years ago, I came to a lecture by Kakudmi Prabhu, and I was inspired by what he was saying, and then here I am now.
Okay, rebuttal?
Sorry?
Do you want to reply?
Yes, they both followed their heart. They didn't follow guru. They didn't follow instructions. They followed what they thought by their emotions. They thought this is right what I have been doing.
I know some devotees who initially they got enamored by a spiritual master who was smiling very nicely, playing musical instruments very nicely, singing very nicely, and then they got initiation, but after a while they regretted taking initiation from that spiritual master because they realized that they were too sentimental. Their decision was not based on proper understanding of philosophy. Ja znam neke vakte tu na području Balkana, koji su već dobili inicijativu od nekih duhovnih učitelja i na kraju su zažalili što su izabrali baš tog duhovnog učitelja jer su bili neiskusni i sentimentalni, mislili su on se jako lijepo smješka, jako lijepo pleše u kirtan, jako lijepo svira instrumente, zabavanje, ali to kasnije kako su duhovno napredovali vidjeli su da te izvanjske karakteristike ne zadovoljavaju njihovu duhovnu glavu, tako da kažem.
Yeah, so that happens often because we're following the head,
To se
not the heart.
događa često kad slijedimo svoju glavu, a ne srce.
And I gave the example of that one devoting Mamachi who asked me what to do. She had the same situation.
Ja sam dao primjer jedne matađi koja mi je rekla što sad da radim, imala bila u istoj takvoj situaciji.
Is that a question?
I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit confused. Maybe it's a question of terminology. Prabhupada give that example better to have cool head and warm legs. So when you said, generally when you speak that you're following ratio or your intelligence, that means you're using your head. And when you, please in this part, and when you're following your emotion, we say you're following your heart. So now I'm a little bit confused. Is it a question of terminology, or should we follow our head, or we should follow our heart, or should we follow intelligence or emotion? So,
Don't emotion come also from the head?
I'm sorry?
Don't emotion also come from the head? Because you think of something and that gives you a certain emotion.
Emotions are a function of the mind.
I emocije su funkcija uma.
So what I'm saying, the way I'm using that word is from your innermost yearning, not from your, oh, this is not from emotions.
Sentiment.
Znači, ja kako
And people, you're right, people do confuse heart with emotions.
I upravo si ljudi zbunjeni su kad naprave zamjenu, pobrkaju srce i emocije. Ali ja govorim o onoj unutarnjoj žudnji srca.
okay, that's now clear. Deep yearning.
Da, ako ja mogu reći. Ja se sjećam svoje unutarnje žudnje i srca kad sam prvi put čitala Bhagavad Gitu.
I can remember my inner yearning of my heart the first time I was reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. Da, i suze. No.
And then I was crying.
Pa su me bakte špotali.
Zato što plačem.
Pa da, rekli su, to je sentiment.
Then when other devotees saw that I was crying, they were criticizing me, telling me that I was sentimental.
Still follow your heart.
Dakle, slijedi svoje srce.
Thank you.
Not them. Okay, something more?
If there is need, I mean, if you like to continue, I have one question more about you mentioned in one moment that young devotees Kanishta doesn't hear super soul. But from other side, we know Bhagavad Gita 50:50. Krishna said, "I'm residing in everyone's heart and giving knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness." So I'm just thinking, how is it's obvious that we listen, even we are not conscious of that, but we constantly listening super soul because basically speaking. Knowledge coming from super soul. So maybe you can just a little bit elaborate on that.
So, the word inspiration, we all know inspiration. That word translates from Latin as God within.
Riječ inspiracija, prevedena s latinskog jezika, znači Bog iznutra.
We all do hear super soul.
Mi svi čujemo nad dušu.
But the neophyte devotee, he doesn't have a clue that that's super soul.
Ali bhakta početnik nema pojma da je to nad dušu.
That's another.
He's thinking, oh, I had an idea.
On misli, ja imam ideju.
He doesn't say, oh, super soul gave me an idea.
Duša mi je dala ideju.
Right?
Good. Now it's clear.
And But the spiritual master, because now this, we have to go look at 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita to understand this.
Trebamo pogledati 6. poglavlje Bhagavad Gita da bismo to shvatili.
The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
Je prijatelj uvjetovane duše, ali i njegov neprijatelj.
The uncontrolled mind is our worst enemy.
Nekontrolirani je moj najveći neprijatelj.
And that refers to everybody.
I to se odnosi na svakoga.
Except the bona fide guru.
Osim na vjerodostojnog guru.
Or spiritually advanced devotees.
Odnosno na duhovno naprednog bhaktu.
And when one brings the mind under control, then he's able to contact the supersoul.
Kad neko dovede pod kontrolu, onda on može kontaktirati nad dušu.
Which is one of the qualifications of the bona fide spiritual master.
I to je jedna od kvalifikacija vjerodostojnog duhovnog učitelja.
Because he's in contact with the supersoul, he's the external via medium to the supersoul.
Jer je on, budući da on u kontaktu sa nad dušom, on je izvanjski posrednik, predstavnik nad dušom.
And I give several examples of this.
I dao sam nekoliko primjera.
Once Prabhupada was speaking with a college professor, and he told the professor, Krishna tells me what to say.
Jednom je Šrila Prabhupada razgovarao sa jednim univerzitetskim profesorom i rekao je, Krishna mi govori što da ja kažem.
One of Prabhupada's leaders was with him, tried to correct him, and he said, what Prabhupada means is that Krishna gives him the intelligence what to say.
A jedan od Prabhupadovih učenika, lidera, koji je bio prisutan, rekao je, Šrila Prabhupada hoće reći da mu Krishna Šrila Prabhupada daje inteligenciju što da kaže.
Prabhupada said, no, Krishna tells me what to say.
Šrila Prabhupada rekao, ne, Krishna mi kaže što da kaže.
Okay. Now, if you watch my god brother Siddhanta, his interviews with the devotees, with Prabhupada's remembrances, many devotees said that it seemed like he could read my mind.
Moj brat Siddhanta, on je napisao, napravio kompilaciju intervjua sa Prabhupadaovim učenicima i mnogi su od njih izjavili, izgledala kao da je Šrila Prabhupada mogao čitati moj um.
Well, Prabhupada wasn't a mind reader, but he was in contact with the supersoul. Krishna tells him what to say.
Šrila Prabhupada nije bio čitač uma, ali bio u kontaktu sa nad dušom i onda je znao što treba reći.
So another example I give in this regard is with Giriraj. When he was just starting to come to the temple, and he had a car, so the devotees asked him to drive everybody to hear Prabhupada speak.
Kao na primjer, Giriraj Maharaj kad je počeo dolaziti u hram, imao je auto, dobar auto, i onda su ga bhakte tražili da ih vozi tamo gdje je Šrila Prabhupada davao lekciju.
And after the lecture, Prabhupada took questions, and I don't remember Giriraj's question, but it's not so important.
I na kraju lekcije Šrila Prabhupada je rekao, imali pitanja, ne znam ko je Giriraj postavio pitanje, ali to nije bitno.
Prabhupada's answer was, that depends on whether you want to try to be God or whether you want to serve God.
I Šrila Prabhupada mu je rekao, ovisi o tome da li želiš biti Bog ili služiti Boga.
Why did Prabhupada choose those words?
Zašto je Šrila Prabhupada izabrao baš te riječi?
Krishna told him what to say.
Jer Krishna mu je rekao što da treba reći.
Giriraj on his bathroom mirror, he had a sticker that he could see every morning that reminded him, you are God.
Ali Giriraj je imao kod kuće u pavodi naljepnicu na kojoj je pisalo, ti si Bog.
And Giriraj said, at that moment I understood this is my spiritual master.
Giriraj kaže, u tom trenutku sam ja shvatio, ovo je moj duhovni učitelj.
Follow-up question. Well, this is just 40-year experience with Slavic people, so
40-year experience of...
with Slavic people, so please
Okay.
be understanding to me. It could be dangerous to give such answer like follow your heart to Slavic people, because one could think, well, what do I need guru for? What do I need spiritual guidance? I can follow my heart. I don't need anyone. Well, maybe I can buy a new shirt and get an initiation, I will still follow my heart. That's how we think.
Okay, translate this.
Ok, čisto nakon 40 godina iskustva sa Slavenima, ideja je da može jedan Slaven pomisliti što će mi guru. Ja samo slijedim svoje srce, ne treba mi nikakvo vodstvo u tom pitanju, mogu sutra ići kupiti novu košulju, usput se inicirati, otprilike je tako nekako kako mi shvaćamo svoje vodstvo, ne znam koje bi trebalo imati, što će nam ako slijedimo tu potencijalno opasnu uputu da slijedimo svoje srce.
Well, we've heard several of the devotees say that they were frustrated and unhappy until they followed their heart.
Mnogi bakte, čuli smo primjere, bili su frustrirani i nesretni sve dok nisu počeli slijediti svoje srce.
You've heard the saying, of course, when the disciple is ready, the guru will appear, right?
Sorry, I missed that one.
When the disciple is ready, the guru will appear.
Kad je učenik spreman, pojavit će se guru za njega.
Or is that what am I thinking of? No. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets a guru. By the mercy of the guru, one gets Krishna. That's the one I'm trying.
Milošću Krišne osoba dobije guru, a milošću gurua osoba dobije Krišnu.
So, by the mercy of Krishna, one gets a guru. We're unhappy, we're looking for happiness. Where are we going to look? Krishna says, go over there and talk to the Hare Krishnas, get a book.
Mi tražimo sreću i Krišna nam šapne, idi do onih Hare Krišna i nabavi si knjigu.
You know, how do we do that? There's some impetus, right? We have some impetus. We look at something, you know, the book, Prabhupada's books, and we say, okay, let me try this.
Znači, postoje neki podsticaj iznutra da trebam nabaviti knjigu. Aha, pogledam knjigu, ajde da probam sad ovo.
So the question actually came out from, I guess, your fiance, your
Wife.
married wife?
Yeah.
Okay. That she was asking, okay, how do I find a guru?
Da, znači to je tvoja supruga postavila pitanje kako ja da nađem svog guru.
You were out of the room, I think, when I said earlier today.
But
Did you hear?
yeah.
Okay. So, you're the guru.
Ti si guru.
That's how the beans tilt. So.
So, yeah, there's a subtle distinction, and we should learn to make that distinction because it will help us in every aspect of our lives.
Znači, razlika je veoma suptilna, ali trebamo naučiti tu razliku koja će nam pomoći u svakom aspektu života.
Okay. So I hear somebody chanting Surah Vijayam?